Hello, stream. I don't know what to tell you. I'm here, you're not. Okay. Well, maybe I'll just fire up Incarnate and do some mapping while I'm waiting for that. Nope, no trouble. Loading my map. Gale, this is my map. Hey, Bob. How you doing, pal? Is there a raid coming? Oh. Peace out, prosthetic. There. Oh, Songbird sprinting. I thought she was raiding somebody else today. Yeah, I changed my hats. I got a bunch of hats. This is my leather one, so. Too bad. Okay, well, hopefully they'll be up next time. Well, I was just streaming the map making to get things started, basically, because there was nobody here. But, if people want to see me string some of my map making, I will. Right? But, yeah. Incarnate is actually really good for that. They give you suggestions on things that you want to know about making a fantasy map. Yeah, level of details for NPCs. Yeah, what you should and should not do. Alright. Yeah, it's, yeah, I'm with you there. I was in for part of it there for a while. Right there, Bob. But, I think that the biggest thing, the reason why you don't want to overdo it is because you can't tell if they're going to be important. Right? What was that? Oh, eSong rated with 24 viewers. Hey. Well, I'm dropping frames like they're free here. Hello, eSong. Hello, Greg. Christ's sake. Sorry. So how's everybody today? Spelling my name? Yeah, it's spelling Aradia from memory, right? Well, get settled in, folks. Right. As usual, this is Ask an Old GM, which means if this is your first time being here, right? I've been a GM for over 40 years. Right? GM'd pretty much every North American system you can imagine. Right? A few overseas ones. What have I been working on? Mapping. I bought a month's subscription to Incarnate just to see if I liked it, which I do. And I've been working on a world map for my campaign. Well, I can't recommend it enough, eSong, to be honest with you. Right, I own the entire Campaign Cartographer 3 suite, right? About $1,000 worth of programs, and this is just as good. Not as versatile, but just as good. Okay, I can show off my map a little bit if you want there. Right there. This is it so far. One continent, anyways. Yeah, Master Lauren is right. You can't go wrong for the price with Incarnate. Right, $25 a year. That's like nothing, right? You know, I bought a month at $5 just to see if I wanted to try it and see if I would get any use out of it, and it's a great mapping thing. mapping program. Right? Yeah, as Aegon says, $30 once for Wonder Draft, and it's good too. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't recommend it or anything like that, but yeah. Wow. Oh, thanks for the host, Aegon. Thanks for the host, Roll Society. Yeah, C3 is very powerful, but yeah, it can be clunky. It can be very hard to operate if you're not a CAD person, right? You know, computer assisted drafting. Yeah, it's hard. Yep. No, C3 is not intuitive at all. You gotta know CAD programming to work with CC3. Right? Yep. Yeah, as Bob says, there are style differences. Pick the one that looks best for you or to you. Yeah. Yeah. $30 one time fee. You probably get 3 years out of it before it becomes obsolete. Right. So $10 a year. That's a good price for Wonder Draft. Right. And Incarnate at $25 a year. Wow, that's nothing. Nothing in it. It won't go obsolete as long as they don't go out of business. Yeah, Project Dios does look very promising for city mapping and stuff, and unfortunately, it's about a year out still. Yeah, Wonder Draft you do too, Lauren. Yeah, he says the issue with some of the other cheaper mapping programs, you don't end up getting on the commercial rights to the map, right? Yeah, Project Dios. Well, we'll see if the price comes down when it comes out. I don't know. Am I losing frames? It says I'm good. Looks like it's just you being twitchy there, Bob. Oh. Your phone was just making sure. Okay. Yeah, that's the big thing. Okay, Sable's right. We can talk a little bit about that since I'm waiting for people to ask me questions. It says ask an old GM. Right? Yeah, do you need a map? Not at first. Right? You should have a pretty good idea of where things are though. The only time you really need a building map is if the building has to make sense. For example, if there's going to be a combat in it. Alright? Other than that, I don't think building maps are necessary. People can imagine it. Everybody's got an inn. You can say the inn has a big room in the front and rooms in the back and, stuff without having to show them all a map of it. Yeah, like DM Stretch says, only draw building maps if you expect to use the building for something, like a combat. Right? You should have a good idea where things are in your world, right? And if you don't have a map, you should take notes. Like, it takes 2 weeks to go from here to there by horse, you know? Yeah, you use fantasy grounds there. Yeah, Stretch, me too. I was considering looking into Foundry, though, because it looks pretty decent. What do I do when combat suddenly breaks out unexpectedly and I don't have a map? I wing it. I say, this is theater of the mind, right? Keep it in your head, right? Try and imagine the scene. Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Have a collection of random battle maps to pull out when needed. Yeah, Lauren's right. In the old games, we didn't use maps for years, right? Sometimes the GM had a world map, and sometimes there was a map of the dungeon that we were going through. But yeah, all theater of the mind. All right, so are maps necessary? Not exactly. No, no, no. There, I said it 3 times, therefore it's fact. More like about 20 there, Lauren. About 2,000 there with about the third edition and such. Oh, geez. I don't really have any advice for you, Songbird. I have never used maps in underwater campaigns. All right, I just theater of the minded it all the time whenever I did that. Yeah, we got the same problem with space maps there, Esog. Do I like using modular dungeon tiles? Are you asking me there, Softwares? Oh yeah, I have never used them actually. I have lots of programs for creating them and stuff like that. And I'm thinking of picking up a 3D printer to print them, but $9.99. Yeah, forgive me, guys. Today I'm really tired and really sore, so I'm not that with it. What are the things you need to have a successful map? Depends on what it's for. For a battle map, you just need a layout of the room, right? Basics like furniture and stuff like that, right? But to make a successful world map, all you really need is boundaries of the countries, right? You can do it on pencil on a piece of paper, right? Yeah. Yeah, like Stretch says, not too cluttered, but not bare either, right? You know, my map's pretty cluttered, but you know, right? I've got some huge forests in here, right? You know, this when you consider this is a continent. Right? Down in the south is jungle. Right? I just don't know how big it is. That's all. I haven't decided that yet. What sort of things do you need in an adventure to make it feel engaging, and what parts of the adventure need to be mapped out on a map? None. No part of the adventure needs to be mapped out on a map if you have good players. That's just the way it is. All right. All right. What you need in an adventure to make it successful is entertainment. Right? A balance between role play and role play. Right? Between being in your character and rolling the dice. Right? So to make a successful encounter, the character should feel there's some chance that the player should feel that there's some chance their character's failing. Right? Right, because nobody wants their character to succeed. Right, at everything. Right, a battle map. Yeah, Bob's got a point there on world region maps to inform you of the types of encounters. You know, if there's a swamp between your city and the dungeon, they might encounter trolls, for example. And yeah, what do you need to map out? Nothing. I don't think you need anything mapped out personally. But if you're gonna map out anything, map out the final fight. Right? And make the final mission goal, whether it's a fight or a diplomatic session or whatever, make it interesting. You got to make that interesting, right? You got to make it memorable, right? You know, if your mission is about the princess, you don't want the characters talking about the barkeep, or the players rather. Suggestions to make the fight memorable: describe the action. I don't know if you watch action movies much, but uh, maybe find some swords and sorcery type action movies and watch them, right? So you can describe, you know, you slice with your sword and the foe falls away, you know, clutching at his chest, or you know, whatever, right? You know, and yeah, the other thing you can watch if you're not into watching actual action movies, is a show that I watch called Forged in Fire, because it gives you a pretty good idea of what a weapon's lethal capabilities are without actually hurting anybody. Forged in Fire, yeah, it's a blacksmithing show on History Channel, right? But they test these weapons that they build, right? They'll build like a Scottish claymore and then actually test it on ballistics dummies and stuff like that, right? Yeah, if you can find it there, Isong, check that out, because that'll give you a pretty good idea of a lot of weapon capabilities, and you know, a pretty good idea what it looks like when a sword runs through somebody, right? You know, and how likely it is that a sword will run through somebody, right? Yeah, Deadliest Warrior was pretty good about the combat stuff, but um, I don't think that Isong's into a lot of violence, to be honest. Right? You know, watching violent TV and stuff like that is frowned upon by their religion. Right? Yeah, to make your final encounter feel like they have accomplished something. That's how you make it memorable, right? If they feel like they just walked all over it, it's probably not memorable, unless they were honestly scared of this person in the first place and then walked all over it, because then that could be really memorable, just in the fact of, yeah, did we ever kick some butt? You know? Yeah, I'm with you too. He's song violence for violence sake is just boring, right? You know, I've seen enough of it in my life that I don't care, right? Yeah. Right? But yeah, if your players feel that they accomplished something, like that they tried really hard and they accomplished something, they'll remember it, right? So you got to make them either scared of the bad guy or really despise him enough that they really want to stomp him, right? Or or if you're the type of players like I've got, where they go, well, he's not irredeemable, so let's see if we can redeem the bad guy, right? You know, that's Sable's whole thing, right? She'd rather turn the bad guy to the good side, right? And we've had a lot of memorable encounters of that too. Yeah, Siobhan too, except for Siobhan can make some very impulsive mistakes. I got a couple of players that are pretty impulsive at the moment, and they can make some pretty big mistakes. Yeah, Stretch. I tried watching that show. It was like, oh my god, there's nothing here. Okay, I gotta go take some painkillers, so I'll be back in a bit. Give me 5 or 10 minutes, guys. Okay. Where's my... Okay, I'm back. Yeah, DM stretch, yeah, it's a trick on Treasure Island with spaceships. Spaceships, literally. Like sailing ships going through space. It's cool. It's like Spelljammer. And Labyrinth, good movie. Yeah. I think when I came back through here, I seen you guys talking about Legend too. Tom Cruise movie. I liked Treasure Planet, Lauren. I thought it was a cute movie. Yeah, that one was pretty good. Oh, geez, that, God, I can't remember the artist's name. Style that he did there. Which Conan are you referring to there, Aegon? Conan Doom fight. Are you referring to the old 80s Conan? With Arnie and James Earl Jones? Or the newer one in the 2000s? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that movie's really good if you want to get an idea of a typical D&D campaign. Yep, definitely what the barbarian class was based on. Artemis Fowl, like as in Wild Wild West. I didn't like the new Conan movie either, even though I thought the Conan in it, the guy who was portraying Conan did a more accurate job than Arnie did. But you know, he more looked the part of Conan, anyways. Yeah, yeah, Lauren, you're absolutely right. You know, it's just plotless. So, has anybody else got any more questions? I mean, we've been brainstorming about this for some time. Yeah, truth, Aegon, but to be honest with you, I watched John Wick for the violence, so I like the gun fu in it. I think that has to do with modern people's attention spans. You know, like take a look at old movies back in the 30s and 40s. You know, they were 2.5, 3 hours long, and people sat through them, right? And there might not be a violent scene in them. There might not be an action scene in them, right? And you know, I don't think levels of intelligence. I don't think levels of intelligence have changed in 75,000 years, but I think that attention spans definitely have. Right? Yeah, Bob, you're right. Special effects have taken over for plot. That's the same thing. Like that leads back to the maps discussion, right? Special effects taking over for plot, right? You don't need a map if your description's good enough. Right? If your players can imagine it, the map is erroneous. Oh, you're saying the intelligence levels in movies have gone down there, Lauren? Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Yeah, they've dumbed down the movies. Sure, I wouldn't even disagree with that. Right, but on the other hand, our kids aren't educated anymore. Right, you know, when my husband was in school, they still had to learn Latin. Right, when I was in school, you know, grammar was something that was drummed into us with the ruler on the back of the knuckles. You know, now kids can't spell the difference between there and there, or your and your. You're welcome drives me nuts. YOUR welcome drives me friggin' nuts. And we have the 80s to thank for that one too, with the no kid left behind policy. Left all our kids uneducated. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, DM Stretch. Yeah. Yeah, right. Eat, shoots, and leaves, and change the punctuation around and see what that does to it. With commas. You can change uh, uh, the subject there. I don't even know what it is there. Jesus. I'm talking about grammar. The word shit. Change it to something else. Uh, maybe not. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when I build maps for my game, right, I build them just because I like them. They're pretty and they look nice. What's next for me in maps? Well, this world, that's only one continent in it of, I think, 6 continents in the world, so I've got to draw the other 6 or the other 5 continents. Yeah, right. What would people just say that? Could have, should have? We're just sort of chatting, Sable. Oh, could have, yeah. Right. The one that gets me is same difference. I could care less. That one, it gets me too. Right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Literally now means literally and figuratively. Okay? And stupider is a word. I grew up in military school. Irregardless? Yeah, people get that one mixed up with regardless all the time. Yeah. Yep. English language is stupid. Is even stupider than that. That's one of Sable's too there, Bob. Yeah, the fact that nobody has any grammar anymore really bothers me too. Yeah. Communication is important. Oh, that lead speech shit? Okay, well, I'd have to know where your campaign is and where it's going there. He's on for some good suggestions on building that. You're going, are you going from, like, adventure paths? Ah, okay, you're looking away to step away from the mod. Sorry about that, guys. Went down there for a second. I'm back up. Hello again. And welcome back to the stream. Okay, so what I was asking you, Song, was you're going from a module, pre-printed work, to your own stuff, right? Who told you it should take 3 sessions? The module? The question was, you're going from a pre-printed module to your own stuff. Reddit? You're listening to Reddit? Right? And how many of your players are on Reddit? Right? Of how many? I mean, like, yeah, 5. So 20% of your people even read that stuff, right? My point being is that every gaming group is entirely different. For somebody to say this should take you 3 days, maybe for you as a game master with a certain gaming group or a certain type of gaming group, that's true. But, is it dragging out because it takes more than 3 days? No, right? I've had things drag out my game that took literally like 5 game sessions to play out one day. Right? But if it is a little slow for them, okay, and that's something you want to be aware of, right? Yeah, like Aegon says, you try and rush them along, but you don't want to feel pushed either. right? So, I use a lot of anyways when things start going off track, right? Right? And is it off track if they're still gaming, right? See, I don't consider it off track if two characters are role playing something out that in real time is going to take up the whole game session, right? Because they're working out the differences between their paranoid cleric and their happy-go-lucky rogue, right? Right? That's not dragging game on. That is gaming. That's what we're here for, right? If all we want to do is roll dice, I got dice rolling programs. Right? The only time that the game is dragging on is when they're not gaming. If they're talking about Magic the Gathering, right? Yeah, like Stretch says, it's not that you're off track, you're just making it your own. Right? Reddit is a terrible place. That's my point, Aegon. Reddit's a terrible place for GM advice. Right? Right? If your players say, this is dragging on, right? For raising the stakes and creating progression with an arc. Yeah, Stretch is right. Ooh. Okay, what's the stakes at now? There's the question, right? I mean, like, the arc is... If you give me a little hint as to what the arc is there, Esong, I can tell you how to raise the stakes in it a little. Okay, the arc, the player is going to go to their Underwonder tribe and find a disease is spread throughout the community. Okay, cool. You want to raise the stakes a little bit, right? He's obviously not immune to it, is he? Right? Nor are your other players, so, right? That raises the stakes, right? Are all your characters capable of breathing underwater? There's the other question. Through magic or otherwise. No. Well, you're going to want to give them the opportunity to find stuff that it cakes them. Well, potions of water breathing are one way. Potions of water breathing last 24 hours. And, you got to pack like 2 weeks worth. Yeah, gillyweed. Yeah. Yeah, like Aegon says, potions, rings. Rings of water breathing are more expensive in the short haul, but better off in the long run. Yeah, but helms of underwater action are prohibitively expensive there, Bob. Well, obviously, is there a cure for this disease yet there, Esog? Well then, play along with them. Start developing in your head some ways that this might be cured. Just like think about it, like if the disease is spread through the water, maybe they got to filter the water, or something like that, or something, right? Black ichor spreading through the community. Maybe they need filter masks or something, and the filter masks have to be made from a certain type of plankton. Yeah, like Bob says, does it affect the other characters? It's like rabies and Alzheimer's. Well, I forget who I am and eat you. Yeah, that can be pretty scary. All right. Do you have the effects of this made up for you in your game? Like, will it subtract from their wisdom scores, and does it require wisdom saves and stuff like that? Right. Um, like, there's a good disease, Bob. I mean, Aegon. Right. Yeah, play Warforged. Yeah, but Greater Restoration is like 6th level. How many like 12th level bloody clerics are there in your world? I wrote an article on this some years back for a online magazine that I was working with, right? Which explained that basically there was like 1 in a million people was a 20th level mage, right? Yeah. Yeah, the characters are 3rd level. They're not going to have like a lot of. Yeah, they're not going to have access to a lot of Greater Restoration. But there might be a plant that does it, that mimics Greater Restoration if it is boiled in, I don't know, octopus urine. And Bob's right. It does it affect humans? Does it affect elves? Right. Okay, Tubby, what are you asking there? What sort of boundaries would I set for a very actionary player? You mean he's very action oriented, or they're very action oriented? They want combat at all turns. Well, there's a whole huge quest. Find out how they're ingesting it. Right? Obviously, it's obviously not obvious, right? Oh, as a player, you often try and make things happen without waiting for it. I've got a player like that too, right? Recently in our game, they attacked and killed an NPC based on an assumption that they had made, right? That was totally false, right? And killed an important NPC because of it, right? Right. What boundaries would I put on them? I would say that I first of all would give them the redo option. Like, do you really want to do that? That's the first thing I would do. Right? You know, or give them that. Okay. Let them know that they're doing something wrong, so they can reconsider. And then I would allow them to reconsider. Wait, no, maybe I don't attack the guard. You know, right? Yeah, they really are the best players making memories. Yes, you know. Yeah, I'm with Bob on that one. I usually let Karma take it, yeah, too. But I'm with Bob, right? The more you uh, do, right, and the more you endanger the other characters, the more consequences I would give for you. Like maybe you'll learn to really like writing up characters, right? Because I'll kill your character off, and then I'll kill off your next character and your next one, right? For doing stupid stuff, right? Um, yeah, because that sort of behavior, right? Right? Yeah, gain more skills in character creation. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Always start your characters at level 1. That's the other thing. You will have characters taking less risks if you have them have to write over at level 1, rather than right up at the median level of the party. I've had my biggest fun is Jedi's in Star Wars. Right? You know, I like the Star Wars system because you fall to the dark side, you don't get to play your character anymore. Right? And our rules were always on that one. If your character dies, you get half his experience for your next character, right? But if your character turns to the dark side, he didn't die. So you get nothing for your new character. You start right over at scratch. Right? I also make it clear to my characters that we aren't going to have any villains in the campaign. West End, Master Lorne, the only good one, the D6 system. Wizards of the Coast system sucked. You gotta taunt fate every once in a while, Squirrel. I'll give you that too. You know, you do, right? But not too often. All right. I let the dice do it for me. All right. You know, if your odds are you're not going to succeed, sooner or later you will fail. And if it's a lethal failure for doing it, you're stupid. Yes, Lauren's right. Playing the game is a jerk. All right. You know. Yeah, chaotic evil people could have friends. Hmm? I'd say Trump's more of a neutral evil. He likes rules when they suit him. Charles Manson's basically a chaotic evil. Oh, that hurt. I dropped my pipe tool on my foot. Ouch. I think only about 90 more days and he's done in there. You get to tell him he's fired in 90 days. Yeah, you see, I don't allow characters to play antagonists. Yeah, exactly. Right. I've always got in the lore of my world a group of people that honestly look out for major assholes in the world that people can't handle. So if you're playing like a character who is like 12th level, because there aren't very many of them in the world, and he's going around murdering villages, these guys show up and they put a stop to it for him. And they're in the lore of my world. Everybody knows about them. So you shouldn't be surprised when they show up to shit kick your character. Yeah. Yeah, Sable's right. Antagonist characters are fun for the player of that character. You know. That's why in our campaign world there are no good or bad guys. Yeah, arrive home, they have to discover how the Ichor is getting about, right? Then they'll have to talk to somebody who might know about the Ichor. Maybe a elder in another village or something, right? Where they're going to have to go, and he's going to have to tell them of the fabled cure for the Ichor. Now, you're not monopolizing, we're just babbling. So, if we're actually going to talk gaming, then that's what I'm here for. Ask a GM, right? Yeah, he's going to have to tell them of the esoteric cure for the esoteric disease. Yeah, that's a good classic Star Wars story there, Lauren. All right. You know, Han Solo was an Imperial pilot. Yeah. What the hell was that? Oh. New follower, Tubby Squirrel. Thank you for following, Tubby. This is actually Sable Aradia's channel, but I do this every Tuesday and Thursday, so... Yeah, it is sort of really crappy there. Stretch. And so we got that so far there. Esong. Alright, they're going to have to figure out where the disease is coming from. And that means that they might have to talk to somebody. That means they might have to talk to somebody in another village. Or they might have to travel in some way. Or even they might have to go into the mountains outside the city, swim up to an old forgotten cave and convince an old hermit to see them. Yeah, Luke wanted to join the Imperial Academy, yeah. Hey, AJ. Yes, you can tie in your legend magical item, yes. Right? Especially if your legend magical item is a healing thing or something. Oh, yeah? Yep, that is true, Sable. Well, hi, AJ, and thanks for stopping in. See you later, Lauren. Yeah, thanks, Lauren. See you next time, I hope. I can't picture you playing an evil character, you saw. Okay, Stretch, get some food. See you soon. And lawful evil is not even necessarily totally selfish, right? The Punisher is lawful evil. Alright. Judge Dredd is lawful evil. Depends what phase he's in there of his career there, Bob. I think you're talking about the Punisher. Yeah, except for the law at the expense of everything else. That's what lawful evil is. The law must be obeyed, sure, but Buddhists are lawful neutral. Right? Like I say, Punisher depends on what phase of his career you're talking about. When he ran over jaywalkers for jaywalking, that was a little evil. Yeah. Yeah, Oolong was definitely lawful neutral by the time he was redeemed. Yeah, mostly. I agree with your chaotic evil assessment. That's why Drow in my world were never chaotic evil. They were neutral evil. The way they're portrayed in all the books is sort of the epitome of it. Okay, so the infection is a corruption, an intentional thing happened by a corrupted priestess. That's what you're saying there, Isong? See, I generally agree with you there, Bob. Evil is selfishness. That's what it is, right? If you're willing to harm other people to get your desires, you're evil. If you're not willing to harm others to get your desires, then you might be good, depending on whether or not you're willing to let this stuff happen or. You know, right? Yeah. Yes, I agree with you, Bob. Right? And that's why the Punisher is evil. He chooses to use the rules as a way to allow him to harm other people. My question to you, Isong, this plague that's overrun his city or village, is it a village or a city? That's another question, right? You say it's intentionally caused? Yes, exactly. I agree with you there, Bob, too. An intelligent lawful unit. Or unintentionally infected. Oh, okay. Right. Your character is a Sayugan, or what? Are a lizard folk, or what are they? That. Yeah, are the lizard folk looking for help? What's a trident? Yeah, you got to work. Yeah, Bob's right. We got to get them breathing underwater first of all. Yeah, links are fine. Okay, pop some links up. Computer loading. Magical Microsoft Minutes. This will take 3 minutes. 4 hours later, this will take 2 minutes. Okay, Saltmarsh. Chromoplexy article. Okay. Chromoplexy spreads through the vent tubes. Through the vent tubes in the lower city markets. Tubes connect to the deep caverns where one of the Galanther planar seals is located. Okay, I think I remember this one. The poor magical barriers, yeah. The black ichor resembling black algae slowly started leaking through the seals, drifted up in hydrothermal vents. Hydrosol drops. Okay. Multipass. What? I have no multipass? Your Trident article is not ready. Does not link. So we'll look at this article instead. Kadawen. Walan. Kadawen Walan. Ah. You missed a of here, I believe. The deity good. I see. I don't know. Oh, this is Diane's. Okay. Yeah, I agree with Bob. Shocking grass on a mage hand there, stretch. Okay, so alright. So the lizard folk, the Tridents, want help with this. Because that's how you can get them underwater. Because like Bob says, I'm sure the Tridents have dealt with adventurers coming down there before. Right? Over the years, they've got a few rings of water breathing. Oh, I'm on the wrong bloody thing. Duh. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're looking at a finding quest here. There, Esong. They gotta find some way that they can get this out of the system of the villagers. Right? The short-term fix. Right? The therapeutic rather than the vaccine. I was just saying that the big thing that you've got to worry about with your characters at the moment is them getting their hands on a therapeutic for this disease, right? Um, yeah. Got ideas? Good girl. All right. Oh. Okay, I'm going to take another 10-minute break here, smoke a bowl, and be back in 10 minutes. Okay? Thank you for being in the stream. I'll see you in a few minutes. Oh yeah, I'm back. See, I lost half my audience. No, I'm kidding. I lost the songbird. Priests are godmongers. There, Bob. Right? A priest wants you to worship their god. They want you to give sacrifices to their god. They want you to do the things their god wants you to do. Why? Right? If there's no afterlife, then it's either you're appeasing the gods in this life, or, you know, for example, the Greeks and the Well of Souls, right? Greeks didn't believe the afterlife was a great place to be, right? So, you know, they appease the gods in this life, right? But, you know, right? So if the god is trying to get the characters to be good, then the priest, if the priest is trying to get the characters to be good, the people in your world to be good, there's got to be a reason for that, right? How to make the afterlife not frightening? Well, that's a good way to do it, right? But there should be consequence for doing bad too. Okay, makes sense. Bob, yeah, that makes sense. And Stretch, I can't see any problem with that. Right? You know, right? You make it something like, if it's for 5th edition, you could do something like Constitution or a Wisdom save. Or both. Right? Right? Because they hurt like a mother, too, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, okay. Makes sense, Bob. Yeah, con save. Right? I give penalties if you're wearing metal armor. Unless it acts like a Faraday cage on you. Yeah. You're right, Bob. You're absolutely right. You could have them that they're magical, but they only could be recharged at a certain magical recharging station at the police station there. Stretch, right? You know, so even if they get their hands on one, it's got 4 shots in it, right? You can't recharge the damn thing. Or 2 shots like a taser does. So anyway, yeah, I think that doing bad being the incentive to go to hell is an incentive for people to be good, right? The Catholics never really say you get rewarded in heaven, right? You walk around and praise God all day, right? So, it's just they do say you do go to hell if you don't. Oh, that's weird. You expect to have Coke and you've got coffee. Yeah. Well, what happens to the just bad people who don't devote their themselves to an evil god? I mean, like, what about an evil atheist? Did you bring enough for everyone, DM Stretch? Sure, I can see that. Their stripe, yeah. If they're tightly controlled, they'll know exactly where they are, too. What does that mean for half-breeds? Or mixed marriages there, Bob? Or like if I've got a elf who's married to a dwarf. And can elves and dwarves interbreed? Like, do you have half-elves? How about elf-human, like half-elves? Yeah. Right, and what about their parents? Right, obviously, like, if both their parents are dead, dwarf, yeah. That's what we call them. Right, but, what about for their parents, though? Right, like, if one's going to the elven heaven and one's going to the human heaven, that sort of sucks. What if I got along better with my elven in-laws than I did with my human laws? Well, you're gonna have a lot of half-elven priests, that's all. Mm-hmm. Agile world building? Hey, no problem, Bob. You have a good one. Agile world building? I don't know. But I'm sure you didn't mean Argyle. I will type how to spell it, though. Yeah, you have a good pizza time there, Bob. Yeah, I know you didn't mean Argyle, because, like, Ireland's already been built. They all gonna make me hungry. Fortunately, I got a bunch of Kentucky Fried Chicken up in the kitchen. What's the temperature there, Stretch? At like 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. Well, has anybody else got more questions to ask, or want to see something, or? Geez, 25 Celsius at 11 at night? That is odd. In case you guys want to know, that's about 80 degrees in Fahrenheit for you Americans out there. A little less, 78, something like that. Degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty warm for the UK. Whereabouts around the UK do you live there, Stretch? I spent about 6 months in Derbyshire. Uh-huh. Good for the winter. Ah, Norfolk. Okay. You didn't miss much, DLW. I asked if anybody had some more questions that they wanted me to answer. That's about it. On the cipher system, I haven't tried it yet, actually. DLW, I've heard a little bit about it, but where is it from exactly? Like, who puts it out? Who, like, is it an American system, Canadian, UK, Swedish? Numenera. Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'll look it up. Oh, Monte Cook. Okay. That's an American system. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the cipher system is done by Monte Cook, and that's obviously North American. And I have not tried it. It's a little new for me. I mean, system's only 7 years old. Okay, your first encounter is, and your rough idea for the plot are, sorry about that. Well, yeah, please do, DLW. Like, I'd really like to know what the system is. You know, I like Monte Cook's other work, especially with D20 system and stuff like that. So, I've liked his work with GURPS. Right? He did some work on GURPS with Steve Jackson. Right? Why is that in Ravinica? Like, you talking Ravinica like the Magic the Gathering world, or? Terrace and Coup. Ah, okay. Right. And this is a 5e system. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do with it, you've got your first encounter. I take it in the first encounter is where they learn of the plot. Or do they already know of the plot and that's why they have the first encounter? Okay, well, they're gonna have to get to a safe house. Something that's safe from the zombies. Right? And how are the characters not being turned into zombies if everything around them is being turned into zombies? Come up with that too. Right? Okay. So the gas is already passed. Okay, green colored sort of tear gas type shit lingering about, they can avoid, so that's good. You might want to have that one linger on so they can find it. You might want to have witness somebody turned into a zombie by it too. Alright, so they get gas equals zombie. Alright. And then you're going to have them work on, well, they obviously are characters who would give a crap that the city's being turned into a plague of zombies. So then you set up clues how they find out who's doing it and how to cure it. This is set 2 weeks after they capture and escape Goblin Gang. So they work for the authorities before they got asked to investigate. Oh, they get asked and get paid for the help. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Right? Like I say, you're gonna have to have somebody turned into a zombie by the gas that they see, so that they can put 2 and 2 together. Right? Without just speculating. Before that, everything else is speculation. You know, and could easily just be a conspiracy theory. Okay? So is the gas contact, like you have to wear a hazmat suit around it, or is it inhaled? Right? In other words, a gas mask will protect you. What happened to my music? Music quit. There we go. Music there. Same time, the Splinter faction are creating bio experiments to create undead super soldiers. Oh, nice. A lot of undead are bioscientists. Okay. And so you can get some tougher zombies and stuff in there when they get closer to uncovering the plot and the bad guys. Right? That'll let them know they're on the right track. Okay, the gas is inhaled, so a gas mask will prevent it. Right? So you might want to have them get equipped with gas masks. Right? And you might also want to know what the chance is that the gas mask comes off in combat, because they might be fighting zombies who are clawing at them and pull their gas mask off, and then they inhale some gas. Right? And I wouldn't make the save too difficult to make for the gas. Right? What level are your characters? There's another question I should ask. Level 3, okay. Alright, yeah, I wouldn't make the save too difficult, like something a level 3 can make on a fairly easy basis, given the fact that, 80% of the race out there is like first level. So, yeah. Alright. I'd go 12 with this one. But have to make it continually, like once every 5 rounds or something like that. Yeah. Sure, on a direct inhale, like concentrated gas, you can make it a lot harder to save. That would make sense. Like, they get hit in the head with a tear gas canister loaded with this stuff, and, you know, or they try and snort a line or something. Yeah. Okay, folks, well, that's pretty much my time. Do you still need help with this stretch? Because I'm back on Tuesday. Right? I'm more than willing to devote an entire session to it. Right? And we can work on stuff. Right? Mostly Esong dominated the chat this time, but, I hope that it helped everyone. Yeah, come back on Tuesday. Same bad time, same bad channel. 1 to 4 Pacific. Right? Yeah, she does so much for other people too that it makes sense. Yeah. All right. Yeah, who's out there that we can raid? Dead Aussie Gamer, okay. Do I have an Ambilight streaming core thing on here? Yes, I do. Good. After me on Friday. Kahuna is supposed to be on. Anybody here follow Kahuna? Is he on? Do you know? Well, where the hell are you, Kuna? Okay. Well, I guess we'll continue talking here until he comes online, so. Yeah, other things to keep in mind there, Stretch, when you're dealing with this stuff is, um, are the zombies contagious? Like, once the gas is in your system, does it mutate and become something else? It's a bioengineered weapon, so that means that it's probably a bacteria of sort, right? Does it mutate in the system to make the zombie infection contagious? And do the characters know that? That's the other thing. You got to keep in mind, like, they may very much not know that it's not contagious, right? You know, you could lead them to believe it is, right? By having somebody in the game, an NPC, get scratched by one of the zombies and later turn into a zombie. What they don't know is he went by a sewage grate, smelled some gas, right? You know, and then they'd be paranoid about getting scratched by the zombies too, which makes it fun. Yeah, you got to knock off some of the NPCs around them, especially if they seem to be liking them a lot. Knock them off, make them into a zombie. And the more you can do it to make them question what's actually causing the zombie plague, the better. Yeah, yeah, submerge yourself in water or in wine or something, even. Beer. You have to go to the brewery. Have big bathtubs full of beer in there. Kuna's still not on. I've seen some pretty huge spiders, but don't shake the desk. You fool. Okay, well, I gotta get out of here and go have a smoke. Alright, so we're gonna raid Aussie, Dead Aussie Gamer. How do you spell their name? Oh, Kahuna's on. Okay. Okay, we'll raid Kahuna because that's who Sable would want me to raid. Raid Kahuna the Elder. Hey. Okay. Back ready to raid. Sorry, I lost the stream for a second. So, thanks everybody for coming. Alright, we're gonna raid Kahuna. And here we go.
Guys, that I am a teacher,